Greetings, I'm Professor Hobo, and welcome to another Hobo Tech News product review. Earlier this year, I reviewed one of the best bang for the buck electric bikes on the market today, the XP 3.0 by the brand Lectric. They have since released a new three-wheeled electric trike at another best bang for the buck price point, and I had to try it out and see, is it any good? Let's find out.
HOBOTECH.
So what powers the Lectric XP Trike? It is a 500 watt nominal or 1092 watt peak hub motor with 65 newton meters or 48 pound-feet of torque through an open differential, which means you can turn easily on hard surfaces. Now this trike rocks a slim 20 by 2.6 inch tire with front and rear 180 millimeter hydraulic brakes, and that includes a parking brake feature. Basically one finger or two finger operation, very easily stop the bike, and that is both front and rear. And if you want to use the parking brake, you just flip this little switch, you hold the brake in, flip the switch till it clicks, and there you go. Now the bike can't be moved. There are 5 levels of pedal assist mode with a factory top speed of 12 miles per hour, and that's a class 2 bike. And that can be unlocked to 14 miles per hour max in the settings. Now, if you hold plus and minus at the same time, it takes you into the special settings mode, where you can actually go through and change things like the brightness of the screen. But the important one, I think, is P22. This unlocks top speed on the bike. By default, PAS level 1 and 2 limit you to 5 miles an hour, and PAS level 3 to 5 limits you to 12. If you set this to 1, P22 set to 1, that unlocks the bike to go 14 miles an hour in any PAS level, so that will give you your top speed. You can also power the bike via half throttle without even pedaling. Under the seat post is a 48 volt, 14 amp hour lithium ion battery with a 2 amp charger. It takes about 4 to 6 hours to charge. And thanks to its aluminum frame, the trike is amazingly lightweight for being electric, coming in at just under 70 pounds with the battery, and without battery, just over 62 pounds. It also folds into a relatively small footprint, around 39 by 30 inches, with a 30-inch height. Note that at a width of 30.5 inches, it can go just about anywhere other electric wheelchairs have access. And of course, as being a step-through design, standover height is only 13.8 inches, and the seat height ranges from 30 inches to 42 inches. The handlebars can also be adjusted up and down for about 3 inches. This makes it good for riders between 4'10" and 6'4". Total payload capacity of the trike is 415 pounds. Now, Lectric does say rider limit is only 330 pounds, but since the rear basket can carry 75 pounds and the front basket can carry 35 pounds, if you don't have any cargo, why couldn't you put a bigger rider on the bike? Anyway, that's how pickup trucks work, but ride at your own risk. Lectric does claim a 60-mile range on this bike when pedaling in pedal assist 1, and a 15-mile range when using throttle only. We of course did our own range test, and we'll post those results later in this video. Now this one has what's called Lectric Power or Electric PWR programming for the built-in 20 amp controller, and that allows for a smoother takeoff and will limit top speed to 5 miles per hour in PAS modes 1 and 2 for new riders. You can of course bypass this in the settings. The built-in LCD display on the handlebars shows speed, battery charge, PAS level, along with headlight controls, your mileage odometer, tripometer, how much power you're pulling, and of course the famous energy bar. The Lectric Trike does come standard with integrated front and rear lights with brake lights, as you can see, that come on when braking. And the electronics are rated at IP65 to withstand rain and other poor weather conditions. And of course, we took the Lectric Trike into my secret outdoor laboratory to perform some tests on it. Since the XP Trike is a low-speed Class 2 bike, however, I saw no need to really do any performance-style testing on it. I, however, of course, did a range test. Well, I didn't, but a friend of mine did. He was visiting the Hobosted, and I figured it was best to get the viewpoint of a senior expert bike rider. So I asked him, go ahead, take it out for the day, go hog wild, thrash on the thing, and let me know what you think. You guys know him as the Chuck Yeager of electric bikes from the Lectric XP 3.0 bike review that I did a few months ago. Of course, it's none other than Kevin the Canadian. I did an interview with him post-ride. Let's check that out. All right, we're here with Kevin. You guys might remember him from the last electric bike review, or well, somebody in the comments called him the Chuck Yeager of electric bikes, and he's very proud of very proud of that notation. And Kevin, he was in the neighborhood, and I told him, I said, "Hey, Kevin, guess what? You're going to be here, and I have the new Lectric Trike. Would you like to try it out?" And he was like, "Heck yeah!" That's about as swearing as they get from Canada, because Kevin's from Canada, if you remember from before. So
any kind of e-bike, I love.
Yeah, he is the e-bike king. He's got tens of thousands of miles, or I guess it translates to hundreds of thousands of kilometers on electric bikes. So he's pretty well versed in all the ins and outs.
Tom asked me to drive this if I wanted to go for a ride in the trike, and I said, you know, I've never ridden a trike, and it's really kind of awkward when you first jump on one, because you know, you're used to riding a bike where you just get to lean on it, but you don't have to do that on this one.
Yeah.
So one thing about these things is once you get used to them and you're making a left-hand turn, you just lean to the left and turn it. You can just turn really fast like that.
Yeah, this thing has a pretty crazy turning radius, and I'll show that when I'm on the bike. It's about the same width as a wheelchair, and the turning radius, you can pretty much do like 90-degree turns on this.
You can turn the wheel handlebar just like that, and it comes around really fast.
Yeah.
You just got to make sure that if you lean the way you're turning, that's the only thing you have to do on it. But it's such a nice bike, but it's kind of different because this bike only has one speed.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Lectric Trike. Unlike their other bikes, this does not have any gears in the back, meaning it's just one single fixed speed. You can see back there, there's no gear change in the front, there's no gear change in the back. And so I was kind of concerned because I got some pretty hilly terrain here, and I said, Kevin, I don't think you're ever going to make it up the hill in our front.
And there's a lot of new gravel on that road. I started pedaling, and I'm going, oh, it's getting steep. And then I hit some really soft stuff, but luckily I was going quick enough and made it all the way to the top. It's got 5 levels of pedal assist.
Yeah, 1 through 5. Well, it's got 0 as well if you don't want any. So with 3, you're able to climb the hill up the road on gravel.
That's right.
Okay. Yep. And was that with pedaling or without pedaling?
Oh, that was with pedaling.
With pedaling.
Yeah, you had to pedal.
Had to pedal.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the hill's too steep to make it up on electric alone.
Yeah.
Because this, like I said, has no gears, so you're kind of limited to what the motor can output.
This is a great bike for calmer territory, but on a calm pavement, it's just great. You can drive this thing, and if you're on a sidewalk, for example, say you're going to the grocery store, and you're leaving your house and or apartment, and you're driving down the sidewalk, you can go as slow as you want or as fast as you want. Pedaling my butt off in top gear, and I got just about 18 miles an hour out of it.
Yeah, so this is like speed limited. The electric motor will only let you go 12 miles an hour. But you can pedal it faster than that if you got strong legs like Kevin. Yeah. Kevin's got like Superman legs.
But if you just use nothing but the throttle, 11.8 miles an hour.
That's what you got, yeah.
That's what I got.
So tell them a little bit about your ride, because you took this on, I don't remember how far it was.
Yeah, I went 18 and a half kilometers, which is just over 10 miles.
Yeah, I'll put that in the below, I'll see how many miles.
It's about 11 miles, I guess. Okay. And so I went up and down hills.
So both dirt and gravel.
Throttle.
So he's done dirt roads, gravel roads, and paved roads in that 11 miles.
Yeah. All the paved roads that I drove on, I took gravel offshoots onto the side. I drove all the gravel roads. Not a problem. Hills, nothing. This thing just ate them up. It was really quite pleasant. And the thing that I liked, I stopped a couple of times to get out and check things. Mm-hmm. And when you put the brakes on, they've got a parking brake type of thing.
Yeah, so there's a locking mechanism on each of the front and rear brakes that allows you to hold. It basically holds the handle down for you, so it's a parking brake.
It doesn't move when you have it. So if you're, for example, if you're going to the store to get a bag of groceries or something, you got the pup in the front and put your groceries in the back.
Yeah.
You can lock the brakes when you're loading it or unloading it, and it's not going to move on you.
Or just getting on and off the thing.
And getting on and off the thing too, yeah.
Which according to Kevin, it's very easy to get on and off of. You can demo that, by the way, if you want to see how.
Yeah, it's just a step through.
It's a very small step through.
Very small step through, so it's very easy to get through. And once you get on it, if you start to pedal, it takes about a revolution because of the cadence sensor in here. And it just takes about one revolution for it to start working. But the nice thing is it's got the throttle. So you can just sit there and you can just touch the throttle and it just goes very slowly. Mm-hmm. But if you put it on level 5 and give it a little bit of throttle, it gives you a little more of a, but nothing too severe.
Nothing jarring.
Nothing jarring, no. Yeah. And it'd be great, this would be a great bike for if there's a lot of pedestrian traffic. Mm-hmm. Because I drove it just putting around really slowly, doing lots of turns like that, and really, really nice to drive that way. Really quite pleasant. And I've driven a lot in streets and cities and busy intersections when there's people walking across the street with bikes and other bikes going across the street. And this thing here would be perfect for that. Especially if you're in a bigger city because they have all the cutouts for the handicapped on the curb things.
Yeah, this is like the perfect thing for going over those like handicapped curbs.
Yeah,
and up the ramps and everything. Yeah.
And the light, when I drove on the road, I turned on the light.
Yeah.
Really bright. Even in the daytime, it was quite bright.
Yeah, the light that comes on this thing is pretty crazy. It's really powerful. I'll get more into that in my section of the review.
Yeah, and the brake lights too. It's got brake lights, so.
Yeah, this has brake lights as well. So talking about the brakes, you rode the original Lectric XP 3.0 with the mechanical brakes. And nobody really liked the brakes too much. So Lectric came out with a hydraulic brake upgrade kit so you could upgrade your bike. But this one comes standard with the hydraulic brakes. Yeah. So what did you think of the brake difference between this and the other bike?
Night and day.
Yeah.
And I've owned a bike with mechanical brakes. It's like power steering or power brakes.
Once you go hydraulic, you can't go back.
No.
Especially if you have any like arthritis in your hands or you have any problems gripping.
Yeah.
It's way easier with the hydraulic brake because you can do it with one finger. You don't even need like the whole hand.
I never use more than 2 fingers.
Yeah. So would you actually, if you were in the market for a trike, would you buy one of these?
Oh, I would. And actually, my sister's got osteoarthritis, so her bones are really delicate. She broke her hip and she broke her knee, and she wants a bike, and this is the one I'm going to tell her to buy.
You're going to recommend this to your own sister, to your family.
Yeah.
So either you like her a lot or not.
And the thing is, when you're on something like this, there's no shocks or anything else on it, but it's very comfortable.
Yeah, I noticed that riding too. Like surprisingly, even though it doesn't have any suspension on it, the seat has a shock on it.
I'm very surprised at the seat. Yeah. How comfortable it is.
Yeah, it's a really soft, comfortable seat, and it's got that shock in there.
It's got the shock in there too, so that makes a big difference. I was very, very surprised at how comfortable it was, and I was going over gravel roads and bumps and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, it sounds like you like it, and I can't get him to get off the thing. He's just going to sit here and bounce on it for the next hour. But so he took it out for some mileage. He's the one that actually did the range testing on this for me. So he rode it for the approximately 11 miles.
And I rode it up and down the same hill using nothing but throttle and nothing but, and then using pedal assist.
And then using some pedal assist. So mixed driving conditions, basically.
I could keep it going up the one hill. I got down to about 6 miles an hour. But once I got over the slight crest like that, it just picked right back up again.
Back up.
But I had it in top gear.
Yeah, you got it in pads level 5.
And then pedaling up it, I just pedaled it up at 11.8 miles an hour, just easy. So if there are hills around, it's not that big of a deal.
It's not that bad. Okay.
No.
That was one of my concerns because it doesn't have gears and it's a lower powered bike, but it does still have a lot of torque.
It does.
So it is designed to take a little bit heavier occupant, and it is designed to go basically accelerate at lower speeds.
Yeah.
Like from 0 to 5.
It's a very nice, smooth acceleration.
It's a nice, smooth acceleration, but it will move you up to 12 miles an hour.
Yeah. My current bike right now when I turn the throttle on it,
Yeah.
It'll if it's on pavement like this and I hit the throttle, the wheel will come off the ground, which is nice. And I've been trying to figure out how to fix that.
Yeah.
But this bike is just nice and smooth, easy acceleration. Just love it. Yeah, it's really, really nice. And especially if there's pedestrians or traffic or whatever, it's really nice to have something to be able to do that and have some place to put your stuff.
Yeah, that's right. You got a basket on the front and the back.
Yeah, and the back. So
plenty of luggage.
Yeah.
To take with you.
Some place to put your beer.
That's right. That's the most important part.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin. Well, thanks for helping me out with the review and putting some miles on the bike, and you got to experience your first trike.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you.
I really like driving this bike.
Cool.
It was good.
All right. Well, we'll see you for the next bike review then.
Got it.
All right. Don't break the speed of sound next time. Now, Kevin's a typical long-range rider who is pretty fearless when it comes to terrain. He took the bike on varied road conditions from heavy gravel to smooth pavement and did straight runs and climbed several hills. I'll put his recorded trip on screen, and being Canadian, he of course saved it in metric. At the bottom, the blue line is speed and the green line is elevation. You can see here he completed a course of 11.6 miles with an elevation gain of 866 feet over about an hour and a half. We did inflate the tires to the max PSI that the tires were rated for, and probably about a third of this course was moderate gravel roads. Next, I'll go ahead and show you his elevation map so you can get an idea of the hills he conquered. So after his ride, I took the battery into the lab, of course, and I recharged it with the factory charger and measured how many watt hours Kevin's ride consumed. Here are the results of recharging the Lectric Trike battery. And I am using the Lectric Trike charger, and the battery was fully charged whenever we rode it, and then I recharged it using the shunt to see exactly how many watt hours we used for that ride. So it says 221 watt hours or 4.14 amp hours, and the recharge time was 3 hours 7 minutes. So we'll go ahead and calculate exactly how many miles you're going to get off of this battery if you rode it like Kevin. And you can see here from the results that Kevin used 221 watt hours out of 672, or almost exactly 1/3 or 33% of the capacity of the battery. So we can easily use some basic math to determine the following. As we know, Kevin's ride was 11.6 miles, so all you have to do is multiply that times 3, and it gives us a maximum mixed range score of 34.8 miles, or we'll just round up to 35 to call it even. This isn't actually too far off of what Lectric says the bike should do on Pedal Assist 3, which I believe Kevin in his interviews said he switched back and forth between 2 and 3 for most of the ride, and did use 5 a couple of times for his top speed runs. He did say he maxed out at around 11.8 miles per hour using throttle only. We can also figure out how many miles you get per kilowatt hour, which is how EVs are rated. Some of the best can go 5 miles per kilowatt hour. The XP Trike can do 50 miles per kilowatt hour, or 10 times as far as a Tesla on the same juice. I know this is useless information, but I still think it's pretty cool. That means it would be technically feasible to tow Lectric's available pet trailer. Yes, they actually sell a pet trailer so you can tow your pet around in this. You can convert that to solar by putting flexible solar panels on it and charge a separate battery in the trailer while you're using the one that's on the bike. You should be able to virtually go unlimited miles. All you basically need to do is be able to generate 1,000 watt hours in about 3 hours to pull it off. That means you need about 300 or 400 watts of solar on that trailer, and that should be pretty easy to do with today's flex panels. Hopefully somebody out there will try it. If you do, make a video, send me a link, or post some pictures on our Facebook group, the HOBOTECH Crew. Okay, well, I guess you guys really want to see me ride this thing, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in PAS level 1. I'll just full throttle it, and I'll show you how fast it goes, and then I'll do 2 and 3. I don't probably have enough room here to do 4 and 5, but I'll show you how slow this goes in the low PAS level. Now, this is going to be throttle only. I'm not going to bother pedaling because I want to show you what the electric motor is going to do. I can hold the bike still and full throttle it, and it won't move. That's how low power level 1 is. So I'll just show you. That's full throttle. Let me back up. Let me try this again. Okay, here's full throttle, pedal assist 1. Okay, I'll put it on pads level 2, full throttle. So once you get moving, okay, that's pedal assist 2. Okay, here's full throttle, pedal assist 2. That's about 3 miles an hour. And full throttle on pedal assist 3, it looks like it's about 5 miles an hour. So that's 3. So it gives you an idea of the first 3 pedal assist modes. Now I'm gonna put it on 5. I'm gonna show you the difference in acceleration. Now this is gonna be from a dead stop. I'm not gonna pedal at all, I'm just gonna full throttle it. I can go significantly faster. I'm cruising through here now. Now, I'm gonna tell you something that's not comfortable, riding this thing off-road. Now, I'm on dirt and gravel with some rocks and some potholes here. With no suspension and skinny tires pumped all the way up, it's a little bit rough. This is definitely for paved roads, streets, sidewalks, things like that. You're probably really not gonna wanna drive this thing off-road. It just doesn't have any suspension. Now, let me show you some sharp turns. Now, this thing can really maneuver. Probably even more than a 2-wheel bike because you can make sharper turns and not have to lean. So let me give you an example of that. So I can literally turn in a tiny little circle, assuming this wasn't gravel. So you can see just how tight of a turn. Well, you kind of get the idea. This is pretty heavy gravel. This is just laid down so it's loose. This bike doesn't do very good on heavy gravel, but you get the idea. All right, so what do I think about the Lectric Trike? I think this thing is pretty fantastic for those that just need to get around town on paved roads and other hard surfaces, maybe some light gravel use. You have to remember that this is a low-speed road bike designed with the chronologically challenged in mind or those with disabilities. It has plenty of range for suburban travel and definitely enough for the city. Since it can go where most wheelchairs can go, it means just about anyone can get out and enjoy the fresh air when going between A and B. Now, since this bike has no suspension whatsoever or any gears, or off-road tires, it's not meant for rough off-road use, high speeds, or even nailing big potholes. Now, this came with the standard seat. It doesn't have the big fluffy seat with the back on it. I wish they would have sent that to me. That's actually a freebie now. It comes with the bike. And I think that would actually make the ride a little softer because the only suspension you have is actually in the seat itself. However, you have to remember this thing is still quite comfy when on smooth roads, and it's really relaxing to ride. The price is right too, and if you're disabled, you might be able to even deduct this as a medical expense if you can get your doctor to sign off on it. Now, one of the things I don't like about this bike, and I think is a pretty big oversight by Lectric, is that it lacks any kind of transmission. There are no gears. This is just one gear. It's pretty much geared for about 10 miles per hour. This thing can get kind of difficult to launch without using the throttle. Now, you have to understand Lectric is trying to keep the cost as low as possible and keep the maintenance as low as possible because you have no gear change stuff you have to lubricate or worry about the chain jumping off or anything like that. It's just one solid gear, and that makes it very low maintenance and, again, cheaper to sell. However, it does become difficult to pedal off the line without using the throttle. And one of the reasons is you have to make a full rotation of the pedals before the motor kicks in. But if you give it throttle, you get instant torque. So most of the time when you pull out from a complete stop, you're probably gonna have to give it a little bit of throttle to start pedaling it. So yeah, that can actually be kind of annoying. Of course, you can just gun it with the throttle anytime you like, and once up to speed, you can decide to pedal if you choose. However, I think Lectric should consider, when they do an upgraded version of this bike, at least give it 3 speeds, low, medium, and high, so that you have a gear to take off in, a gear for your normal riding, and then a high gear, basically an overdrive if you're going pretty fast. Now, another thing they should consider making is a fat tire version. I think that would be awesome because that would allow you to actually go off-road on this and have a little bit of suspension because you can air down fat tires. If you put some 4-inch tires on this, you can air them down to like 6 or 8 PSI. Those tires will get nice and squishy, so it'll handle the bumps a lot better. It'll also give you better traction off-road. I think a fat tire version of this would be pretty awesome. That's the one I'd get. If they had a fat tire off-road version of this bike, maybe with a nice springy fork on it, I think that would be a major upgrade. They could just charge extra money for that. I think it's a good idea. And finally, I don't really care for the low top speed on this. Even unlocked it's only 14 miles an hour, and it's not going to keep up with most traffic on busy roads. Now, I understand Lectric did this as a safety issue, because when I talked to the representative, that's what he said. He goes, the reason why we limit it to 12 miles an hour, it's for safety. When you're on a trike, they're easy to fall off of and stuff like that. Since this is designed as a safe, low-speed transport for those who have difficulty with standard electric bikes, I can't really gripe about it too much. I simply have the need.
I feel the need for speed. Ow!
All right, that takes us to everyone's favorite part, product price. Lectric is currently having their Black Friday sale on all of their bikes, but they have a special on the trike, $300 off normal price. And that $300 off includes some pretty cool upgrades, including the 3-piece basket kit as shown on this bike, that nice wide saddle seat with a backrest, which I'm probably gonna buy and put on this bike because that's much more comfortable. And they also give you a set of mirrors with a locking key system. So you not only get $300 off the regular price for Black Friday, but you get those 3 awesome upgrades thrown in. So all of this, including that 3-piece upgrade, is only $14.99, which is less than what you'd pay for a lot of 2-wheeled electric bikes. So if you're interested in the Lectric XP Trike, the link is going to be in the description of this video below. I'm also going to put a link here at the bottom of the screen. You can type in manually, and I'll put a QR code over here you can scan on a mobile device. If you're watching me on TV, it'll take you on over to the Lectric Bike store page where you can check out the XP Trike. Thanks for watching. If you learned something today, don't forget to give me that thumbs up below. And if you're not a subscriber already, you know what to do. That's it for now. Till next time.
Odin commands you to like and subscribe, and clean my litter box.